Bryson kind of reminds me of LeBron in that way, is that everything LeBron does feels so manufactured, just like Bryson, where
Yeah.
you want that, and you kind of said it, like Spieth, Mickelson, that kind of, you're riding the roller coaster with them. That's how it always felt with Steph, that, he's just going to make 9 threes from half court in a game. Who knows what he's going to do tonight? But he was still really good at the same time. And he was winning championships, winning MVPs. But I don't think that when we look at the historical pantheon of best basketball players of all time, anyone would make the case that Steph was better than LeBron, although he probably ended up being more popular. So that's probably the route that we need to take for golf, that sort of someone who wins, but maybe isn't the most dominant player, but just is the most fun player with a personality. I just have no idea who it is. Akshay is the closest. Like, Akshay doesn't have a shirt on half the time. He's hitting it out of the water. He has his weird, like, stoner California accent absolutely cracks me up.
Yeah, and the fact that he looks like the lead singer from the Digital Underground just kills me, and then he leans into that look all the time. That to me is a lot of fun. Akshay's a great call. He's a great call, and he's so young. What is he, 23, 24 right now?
24. He just turned 24.
Yeah. So, the first time I saw Akshay, I thought he was a long putter. It was 2017. I was on the range at Plainfield Country Club, and he was on the team for the Junior President's Cup, and they were playing the President's Cup at nearby Liberty National here in New Jersey. And this lefty kid who was getting lessons from George Gankis, if you remember that guy.
At Mayo Experience.
Welcome to the final word on the Houston Open with myself and Keith Stewart from ReadTheLine.com. If you want to sub to my newsletter, that is free. That's where all the final picks will be. Hit the description, hit the link, super free. Additionally, Keith's newsletter from Read the Line is down there as well. Please go subscribe to that. Keith, you are not in Houston this week. We're just like big hard pass on Houston at this time of year.
Well, there was actually a bigger draw down there in Southeast Florida, but I didn't make it to either. I'm prepping for, I think, traveling 8 of the next 9 weeks, starting with Valero week. So I took a week off, Pat. And okay. You know what? Houston is what it is. Great prep course for the Masters. And, Memorial Park is a venue that I really love.
Let's talk about why is it that it is a good prep course, more so than what we're going to see next week at Valero?
It starts off the tee box. You have much, wider landing areas with which to hit the golf ball. Now, don't be thrown off by that when it comes to Augusta National and some of the hole locations that you're going to see this weekend at Memorial Park. Both those golf courses are very well designed. And, Alistair McKenzie was a huge influence on Tom Doak. So, don't think for a second that there aren't some similarities. There's a number of really interesting comp courses this week, and I'm sure we'll get into that at some point. But when it comes down just to Augusta National, getting to the right side of the fairway as a bomber, Power's featured at Augusta. Its Power is definitely featured this week at Memorial Park. And then hitting in with, the average par 4 length at Augusta National is like 456 yards. The average par 4 length here is like 468. So you're talking about a lot of very, very long shots into greens, green complexes that are surrounded with not very many bunkers. There's only 24 bunkers on the property here at Memorial Park, and there's 44 over there at Augusta National. So it's a lot of closely mown areas. And although they're very, very nicely manicured there at Augusta National, you are going to get some situations here at Memorial Park that are going to resemble it. So you're talking about a heavy mid to long iron second shot course, wide berth off the tee. Some around the green acumen. And then, you know what? Probably the biggest difference between the two places that you can make putts at Memorial Park, whereas at Augusta National, almost everyone putts defensively. That'd be my breakdown.
So the greens are obviously a little bit slower than they're going to be at Augusta National in 2 weeks' time. But do you think it gives you – because I'm wondering why more people don't come and play this one versus going to play next week, because I don't know exactly who's going to be in the field at Valero, but I'm guessing Corey Connors is going to be there. A lot of the Euro guys end up playing there. Like Fleetwood tends to play it over and over. Harmon tends to play it. Obviously, Harmon won a year ago. Obviously, you need to be a bomber to really have a great chance to compete at Memorial Park, where you do not at Valero. You can hit it as short as you want, just be good in the wind. But it does feel like if you are prepping to win at Augusta, you'd probably want to be here, not there next week in San Antonio.
Pat, I 100% agree with you. And sometimes the answer to this question baffles me as well. these guys, we talk about the schedule, it seems endlessly on the PGA Tour, but this part of the schedule has been the same since the signature events came about. So for about 3 years now, we've seen this lead in, the same exact lead in into Augusta National, into Magnolia Lane. And guys have just built their schedules around this style of March. And although it makes sense to go to Memorial Park, I think guys, if they're I play the week before a major, if you're that type of guy, that's what you do. If I play all the time, then that's what I do. And then if I don't play for a while, like if I was tired after Valspar, then I take 2 weeks off and I rest, or maybe I have some nagging injuries, then I do it that way. But the guys seem to, like we say this all the time, like it makes sense to us, but whatever their schedule is, it seems like over the last 3 or 4 years, these guys really dig into it, and it kind of doesn't matter what the venue is, which is kind of interesting.
Maybe it does. I have Michael Kim coming on next week as the kickoff to Masters Week, talking about each of the holes, prepping for Augusta, what it was like going back last year, playing the course, what it's like to actually be in the field this year, not having to play yourself in like a lot of guys in the field are still trying to do. Looking at you, Ricky Fowler. What does Ricky need this week? A top 5?
Well, if he wins, he get in. But I think you're right. I think it's as high as a top 5.
He's 59th in the world, so he has to get inside 50 or above. I think, well, it might not work that way now, because the big news before we started recording is Scottie Scheffler pulled out of this tournament, which could severely affect some of these guys trying to make a run, because the overall field strength is not going to earn you as many points anymore.
Yeah, I mean, a shock to the system for sure to not see him to do any prep work. 59th to 50th is going to be a lot. And remember, the top 50 OWGR cutoff comes after Houston. You could still win Valero and get in, or the winner of obviously Houston, if you're not already in the field, they can get in as well. But that top 50 cutoff has only 4 more rounds with which to get in there.
It is. I'm just trying to think that, like if Ricky had come third this week and Scottie was in the field, regardless of what Scottie had come, him carrying so much weight in the official world golf rankings, being so far ahead of Rory at number 1, that it probably would have been enough. I don't know if a top 5 would get him in anymore. It might have to be like a first or a second for Ricky if he wants to play. I think it's weird. Ricky's having a really good year, and I mentioned this to a couple of my friends, and they were like, why does anyone care about Ricky Fowler? But then I talked to my dad, who very casually watches golf, and the first thing he told me, I think it was at Pebble Beach, he's like, man, Ricky's in it. I was like, there you go. I guess that's why people still love Ricky Fowler.
I mean, it's hard to let go of your heroes. We walked away from Valspar, and there was a great ending to that tournament. And the number one person that I've seen everyone talk about was Spieth's 4 days. There was just like all over the map. And I mean, he's just another example of that group, the spring break boys that people just can't let go. Fowler would be nice to see go down Magnolia Lane, but I would love to see one of these like young up and coming guys win this week or next week and find their way into Augusta and be there for the first time. Ricky's had his couple chances. Give me some new blood, Pat.
Yeah, well, Ricky will have his chance next week at Valero. I'm guessing that he's going to play in that field if he's not in the Masters to try to go win it. Probably a much better course for him, too, next week.
Oh, certainly. As a ball striker, I mean, you can use Scottie, since we're all now playing the without Scottie market this week. You could use Scottie. The fact that he always plays here and he finishes in the top 2, it seems like every time he comes, is interesting, because you would think something like TPC San Antonio, being a much more difficult golf course, certainly when it comes to a ball striking perspective, would favor the guys like a Fowler, like, the guys that are really hitting the ball well right now. Like, well, people say Scottie isn't, but he's still hitting it pretty darn good. But you would think that a ball striker would want to go to Valero if they're willing to play the week before Augusta, rather than come here where it just seems to be a bomber's paradise.
Let's talk about Scottie. He is out of this field at Tuesday WD. Bud Colley also, if you didn't notice, also withdrew at the same time too. But no one's really paying much attention to that. It's all about Scottie. And now the odds have reset. I found it interesting on the odds board because Min Woo just got slashed. He's down to 11-1. No one else really moved all that much from where they were. Like when I looked on Monday, when we opened on Monday morning, Goddard was 19-1. And then he fell to 24, and then he went back up to 22, and now he's at 16. So there was a big drop with him. Like Brooks goes from 25 to 22. Burns stays at 25. Penge dropped from 28 to 30 somehow. I just thought that was very funny that it affected like 3 guys at the top, and everyone else kind of stayed the same.
I remember, golly, it was a while ago now, but it was definitely this year that you and Bickle did the whole breakdown of the Scottie market versus the without Scottie market, how it never really seems to change enough for the perspective of having Scheffler in the tournament or having him not in the tournament. So it doesn't surprise me at all that if Goddard, I'm looking at DraftKings right now, if Goddard started the week at 19, he's 20 right now on the DraftKings board, and he hasn't moved at all, and you've taken a guy out of the tournament that probably has 20% chance of winning it.
Yeah, or more, especially even though he's never won this tournament. This would be one of the ones I would guess that, like I said that when he won the Amex earlier this year, it did feel like the American Express with that Pro-Am setup, an easy course, that he's more gettable at one of those courses because someone can just run a hot wedge in putting week and run him down as long as he doesn't bring his putter. Thing is, he brought his putter and he brought his wedges and he blew everyone out. But I know this course is do you think it's going to play easy or hard? Because it's played very difficult 4 or 5 years it's been on tour. Last year was wet. They played lift, clean, and replace, and it got to 20 under. I don't think we're going to be seeing that again.
I agree with you, Pat. I don't think we're going to see that at all. In fact, Vegas set the over-under on the winning score at 15.5, and I even think that's a little bit high. I think that the number is going to be in the low teens, and there's a couple reasons why I say that. The first thing is that they haven't had any rain out there, so it's going to play firm and fast. The second thing is that not only have they not had much rain recently and great growing conditions, it's been unseasonably warm. I think 22 of the 23 or 24 days have been above 70 degrees out there in the Houston region. So it needs to be colder for that Bermuda to go super dormant and for the ryegrass to take over. But to compound their issues, in talking to the tour's agronomy officials, back when they did the overseed for the ryegrass and the Poa trivialis on the greens, they didn't get any rain and they didn't have very good growing conditions. So it came in with a lot less density than usual. So it's pretty sparse. And in this particular case, with all of the good growing conditions that they've had over the last month, it seems like the Bermuda is starting to pop. So you're going to have it's probably good that Scheffler's not there because the fair police would be out just having a field day with all of his histrionics that he has when he doesn't think that things are, set up properly. And I think there's going to be a bunch of issues this week when it comes to a mix of Bermuda and ryegrass, especially when you're talking about around the green situations, grain on the greens. I think that the rough, how much Bermuda is going to come up in the rough, they're trying to keep it very, very limited. What's it, like 1.5 inches that they're trying to have of the ryegrass and really create that sort of Augusta rough situation. And if the Bermuda starts popping up through that, then you're going to get all sorts of, we're going to want adaptable guys, starting with the putter, reinforced with the wedge and the chipping, and then certainly from the rough.
Do you think any of this takes Ballmer out of play? Should we start looking at guys that are good at driving, but not quite as long? Because I filled up my entire card with guys that just pounded off the tee.
No, we want pounders, but I mean, enough that you also want guys that can chip and putt around this place.
Yeah, more so. Absolutely. But I'm thinking of someone like, and this is why I crossed him off my list. He doesn't have the distance, but he's still a very good driver. Is Ryan Gerard, who he made a bit of a run here a year ago, but he can't chip and he can't putt. That's a real problem.
So Ryan Gerard has actually proven that he could putt around this place. I'm not going to sit here and say that he can't chip, but he's probably the only guy that I'm seriously interested in that can't chip. Everybody else can chip and putt. But he has a good history here, and the ball striking is to a point where I think it's worth paying attention to. Great example, because that was somebody that I spent a lot of time looking at.
Like Shane Lowry, I guess, would be another example of this, where he gains off the tee, but he's not super long. He's a very good iron player. He may be broken for the moment because that shot on 16 and 17, really, at PGA National kind of broke him a little bit. He hasn't been quite the same since that shot when he should have won the Cognizant. But again, he's going to gain off the tee, but he's going to be well behind most of the guys that are just ripping it.
Shane, it goes back to me like the Ricky Fowler conversation. I would much prefer a guy like Shane next week where there's much more of a demand on off the tee and your approach play, your short game, those crazy jagged edge bunkers there at TPC San Antonio. There's only 24 bunkers on the property here. And all the things that Shane does good that features him all the time in Florida, where those golf courses are very, very difficult. I'm not sure that gives him enough separation room here. And, Shane can top 5 anywhere. Don't get me wrong. But getting across the finish line, I don't think it gives him any extra edge here. So I would stick with the guys that have ball speed and that can chip and putt.
Starting something new is terrifying. I remember right before launching this show thinking, what if no one listens? What if it completely flops? And that's something that has persisted every time that I hit record and go to edit a show, even as I'm recording this right now. It never goes away. But taking that leap ended up being one of the best decisions I ever made. And honestly, having something like Shopify back then would have made it a whole lot easier. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses. Whether you're just getting started or scaling up, you can build a clean, professional store with ready-to-use templates that actually match your brand. No coding headaches. And it's not just a storefront. Shopify's got built-in AI tools to help write product descriptions, improve your pages, even upgrade your images. Plus, you can run email and social campaigns right from the platform like you've got a full marketing team behind you. That would have been great like 15 years ago, not gonna lie to you. Best part, everything lives in one place. Inventory, payments, analytics, so you're not juggling 5 different tools to run your business. It's time to turn those what ifs into with Shopify today. Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/PatMayo. Go to shopify.com/PatMayo. That's shopify.com/PatMayo. Think you know ball? Prove it on Underdog and bet the bracket. Build a tourney bracket for free and see if you can outlast the rest for a shot at $100,000 in prizes. If your bracket busts, don't worry. You can turn your bets into real money all tourney long with prediction markets on Underdog. Available right now in most states like California, Texas, and Florida. Head to the Underdog app and put your bets to the test. With prediction markets, you can bet on money lines, spreads, and totals throughout the tournament, all in one place in real time. New markets drop every round from the opening tip to the final buzzer. So, if you love college hoops and think you know how each round will unfold, Underdog is where you make your bets. Download the Underdog app today and use promo code MAYO to get started. Prediction markets on Underdog. Available in your state. What do we make of Scottie at the Masters now? He's not going to have any of this prep going in because he's not going to play Valero next week. So the next time we're going to see him is at Augusta National. He's going to be the betting favorite. He's won it 2 of the past 4 years, but he's having his worst statistical season in 6 years, basically since he was a rookie on tour. Do you think we finally get a relatively fair number? And what would be a fair number on Scottie at this point, knowing he comes in with lackluster form? I don't want to say bad form, but lackluster compared to Scottie form. That if they're posting him at 4-1, that seems like unfair.
I don't do this often, but I think we're headed towards a total clusterfuck. You know what I mean? Like, I think that with Scottie being in the condition he's in, with Rory not playing, with all that's going on with Bryson and Rahm, with how good Xander's played, with Ludwig's collapse at the Players. I mean, all of these guys at the top of the board that are going to be featured like under 20, 20-1. There is some sort of significant storyline, around them. And to answer your question specifically about Scottie's line, we are not going to get a fair number. We're not going to get a fair number on Scottie unless he has a whole season like this. And the reason for that is that domestically, I can only speak to down here, but the Masters is the 4th most bet event in the United States. So there's no way that they're all of a sudden going to give us an extra point or 2 on Scottie when they know he's going to be the most bet guy. He's got 2 Masters victories in the last couple years. And the average person that is going to bet on Scottie, or, it'll be interesting when I do something like the power rankings for Golf Digest. I mean, Scottie probably won't be number 1, but people are still going to think of him as number 1, and they're going to bet the heck out of him. I mean, even if Tiger plays, all the money is still going to be on Scottie to win this thing. And it rightfully probably should be when you think about, the form and what it takes to win at Augusta National. That being said, the number of question marks are going to be like infinite compared to previous years as we're rolling into this place.
Scottie's still plus 350 right now. Unless they want to hang a 7 or 8 to 1 on him, then I'm just going to have no interest. If they hang an 8 to 1 on him, I got plenty of interest in that. That I could do. And that would mean that Rory would be like 10, Bryson would be 10, Rahm would be 10. I know you don't pay attention to Liv at all, but I think those two guys are significant because they're winning all the events on Liv right now.
Well, I pay attention to about 5 players on Liv, and you've named 2 of them. And I'm well aware of what's been taking place the last 3 weeks and who has won and who's playing very, very well. I'm also well aware of the fact that Jon Rahm is striking the golf ball better than anyone in the world, if you believe in all of what Data Golf has to say. So, I mean, it's a really, really interesting situation because the 2 superstars of the PGA Tour have a ton of question marks around it, and the 2 superstars of the Live Golf Tour seem to be rolling. And then some of these periphery guys are having their moments, whether you really, really believe in a Matt Fitz coming back and winning another major, Cam Young stepping up and being that guy. Is it going to be Ludwig comes back because he's in 2 trips, he's got 2 top 10s at Augusta National. I mean, the door seems wide open with Scottie in the situation he is in, and which seems like the perfect time that if people start paying attention to anyone but him, that he's going to come in and close it.
Just pray for my Matty Fitz futures. That's all I care about right now. He got his win. How important do you think a win before the Masters and winning the Masters is? Because most guys do in a calendar year from January through April have a win before they win at Augusta.
I think it's extremely important. I think if you look at the history, and now we're going into 90 years, but if you look at the 89 years, or at least the last 20 years or so, what's there? 2 guys that haven't won and seriously contended for multiple events coming into the Masters. Augusta National is like playing on the razor's edge. That's not a place where you're going to just go find it. And I mean, we'll dig more into this and into Magnolia Lane and Augusta National Golf Club next week as we get even closer. But it would have been nice to have Scottie this week and try to figure some things out, but we're not going to get that. So like I said, we got issues as we're going as we're heading towards the first major championship of the year.
Well, if you start taking some cross-offs of the list, like I really like Xander, and I think that his numbers still increasingly fair, and he's been playing some good golf. He hasn't really – it's funny, when you look at his results, he hasn't really contended in any of these tournaments despite – like he didn't contend last week at the Valspar. He had no chance of winning, but I think he ended up coming T6. He was T3 at the Players, but he was out of it at the Players unless a complete implosion happened from 2 separate guys over the course of the final 2 holes. He just put in a nice run on Sunday. So sometimes it can be a little bit misleading that way in terms of did he actually contend versus what his result was. But it's still nice to see those pop up. We know that first-timers can do well, but we haven't seen a winner since 1979. So let's cross Chris Gotterup off that list, who's already won twice this year. I can't remember. Did Bridgman make it? Is Bridgman a debutant this year? I believe that he is.
Ooh, I don't know that off the top of my head. I have to start studying my Masters app, which does include Tiger Woods in the field, by the way. I mean, I can't believe that, Golf X hasn't hit that yet, but he's listed there. And generally, they only list people that are in the field. So I guess he would have to withdraw at this point, but they do have him listed there. I don't know about Bridgman off the top of my head. When it comes to Xander.
No appearances for Jacob Bridgman at Augusta.
Okay, so there you go. Answered your own question.
But my point was, this leads us to Scottie, Rose, Morikawa, Nico Echeverria, Akshay, Cam Young, Matt Fitzpatrick. Those are your 7 guys who have won. Bryson and Rahm from Liv would be the other ones.
I mean, I could see a lot of guys winning out of that list, and I'm not talking about Nico Echeverria.
Why not?
That's for sure.
Go pin seeking at Augusta. That works, right?
Oh, please. Just don't waste your air on this. Getting back to Xander, though, I somewhat push back on that. He didn't contend at Riviera, but he finished 7th there, and he played very well. Then fast forward to the Players. He was in contention for 2 rounds. He had a very bad Saturday. He had an above average Sunday. So he's been in the mix enough to feel the juices of where he's failing and what he knows he needs to work on. Similarly with Ludwig. And Ludwig, I mean, is the prototype player that you would want to get around Augusta National. The only thing you'd love to have Ludwig do a little bit better would be short game. But overall, when it comes to a full swing ball striking perspective, the guy launches it high. He hits it far. He hits his long irons like they're wedges. I mean, that's the stereotypical guy we're looking for. And it's also the type of guy that we're looking for this week at Memorial Park. And it's kind of fun sometimes when you go further down the list and where you don't have to be as penal when it comes to missing the fairway, because some of these really fun names tend to jump in the mix. And then, you get to kind of hash it out whether or not you think Marco Penge can chip this week, or whether or not, Michael Brennan all of a sudden could pop through because he's a bomber and, he's proven he can win on the PGA Tour. I think that there's a lot of fun conversations this week.
Yeah, Brennan is going to be. I've said for like 3 weeks, just make sure that I bet Marco Penge. Make sure that I bet Marco Penge. I haven't bet Marco Penge as of yet. I can still be talked into it, but I just really did not like his number at all.
Yeah, I don't like his strokes game around the green number. I mean, I think that's going to be a problem this week.
It might be, but his entire game has been off in 2026. I'm willing to give him a pass based on the health issues he's had, the club change, moving to America. He started to look more like the guy that was winning on the DP World Tour last week, than he had at any other point. So I don't know if there's a few guys, and you see this throughout the course of the season with the ebbs and flows, that maybe just throw out the 2 months of data that you have on him.
You're talking about Penge?
Yeah, with Penge.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. I mean, Marco looked silky last week. He looked pretty smooth, and much like his DP resume from a year ago. You and I talk about this all the time. When you're talking about players, they're not always looking at things necessarily as they're making these adjustments. And you just named like some really significant ones, moving, new tour, new country, new equipment, all of these things. So they're always like kind of like looking a month at a time, where we're always looking week to week in our little myopic world here in golf betting. So if Marco thinks that he's building towards something, then don't be surprised if, it always makes sense on a Monday that a future Monday where we're like, oh, geez, we should have seen Penge coming, but, we got to throw away some of January and February because he just wasn't comfortable back then. I think you're 100% right.
And this course is a perfect fit for everything that he does well outside of the chipping. But, Scottish Open last year wasn't a problem for him. That's another Doak design. That's another place with runoff areas and elevated greens. So maybe there is something to that.
There could be. The Europeans are always kind of they can surprise you sometimes because they're used to growing up on link style courses and they don't have to play as much target golf as we do over here. So their stylings around the green side, the green complexes, don't always translate to a number of the TPC venues over here. But when you get a place like a Memorial Park or an Augusta National, that's sometimes where we've seen some guys pop with their short game that, like you said, you might just have to throw out 2 months worth of statistics here because he could do it. And would it surprise me if Penge did it? It would surprise me somewhat, but it's not going to overly surprise me after what he did on the DP World Tour last year. The guy's a world-class flusher of the golf ball, and he can score. It surprises me more that guys like he and Ludwig haven't figured out chipping yet, but they hit so many good quality shots with their full swing that they kind of almost don't have to, and they can still contend all the time. And if the putter gets super hot, then they win.
I know this is coming out before we have witnessed it, but Tiger's playing on TGL on Tuesday evening. This is quite a coup for our buddy Chris at TGL, that it's almost as if he scripted this, be like, hey, we're going to get Jupiter to the finals. They're going to lose match one. Then Tiger's going to play so we get our highest ratings ever.
I mean, it almost seems like it's a coup for the guy who's part owner of the league. I don't know. I'm excited. I'm always excited to see Tiger. I mean, the flags, everything. I'm a Tiger guy. You know that. But what I find most interesting about Tiger right now is that it was like 6 weeks ago, he said he was asked to be captain. And we haven't heard squat about that since. And like, everyone's like, oh, is he going to play Augusta? Why? Because he's going to win? No. Oh, is he going to play TGL? All you guys ever do is make fun of me for talking about TGL. So like, the only really relevant question right now is he going to be the Ryder Cup captain in my mind? And no one's even talking about it. And, when I was at the Players, I was talking to a number of like traditional media folks, editorial guys that write, they write gamers, they're writing all this stuff all the time. And they're like, how come no one's talking about this right now? This is like a pretty big deal. TGL was very happy to show Luke Donald there sitting last night, like in all his glory, going for his third win in a row and everything. And like our side of the Ryder Cup's in complete disarray. So like, I get it. The TGL thing is going to be super fun tonight. In TGL, you hit like, I think it's like 11 or 12 full swings, and then you get a couple putts and chips. So, like, big deal. Yes, we'll see actual numbers on the speed, but, you know, and if he goes to Augusta, he probably makes the cut, and it's great for golf and everything. But, like, what would be better for American golf right now than to have the answer to that question?
Oh, I don't care about that. I just care about him playing.
Come on.
I really don't care. I need him to play at Augusta, and if he's playing on TGL and he doesn't get hurt, I think there's like a 95% chance he's playing in the Masters.
Come on. I mean, I spent 5 formative years of my professional golf career around Tiger Woods. If he's playing TGL, he's playing Augusta National, unless he hurts himself tonight in some fashion, or has to play. Well, he'd have to play both matches. I mean, you're not sitting him in the second match with all of it on the line and putting Kisner back in after that display last night. I mean, you kidding me? The guy on the final hole, he hit a 7-wood out of the rough, like 155 yards.
I do that. That's
what
I do.
Exactly. And I'm not putting you on my TGL team, no matter if you wear red or not. I'm putting Sunday red on that team, whether the guy's out there with a cane or not. So, like, the fact of the matter is that he's playing both matches tonight. If he doesn't get hurt, the guy's going down Magnolia Lane. Just book it.
See, but it's sad because golf still relies so much on Tiger to make an impact that we can talk about. You know, Scottie's pretty boring, but Scottie's the guy right now. Bryson's obviously the biggest like internet star that we have, but is Bryson really going to get the same sort of attention that Tiger is going to get? No. But having them all together in one place, that is exciting to me. And I guess for your point on the Ryder Cup, that's exciting too, because all those guys would be there.
I'll move past the Ryder Cup point. I just thought it was unique that no one was talking about it. And of all the 3 things surrounding Tiger, TGL, the Masters, and the Ryder Cup captaincy, that one seems to me to be the most relevant for the future of golf rather than whether or not he plays one more Augusta. No.
Because TGL, I mean, as we're speaking right now, it's happening in a few hours. The Masters is in 2 weeks. The Ryder Cup's in 18 months.
I know. What have you done for me lately?
There's a President's Cup to go through already. And
here we go. So the Canada bias comes through. I can't talk about the Ryder Cup because we don't play against Canada. Is this the problem?
Yeah, listen, if Corey Connors was on those European teams, watch out. Or if you got him on Team America, they probably win. They don't even need him. They need Shooter Shaw and Yella Miraju on the team. That's who they need.
Yeah, throw him and Connors on that European team, and let's drop off Rory and Rahm, and I'd be more than happy to take on them and at Adair Manor for sure.
You know what? Europe still wins in Europe with those 2 guys.
I don't know. USA could have a secret weapon in mind, but more on that later. Quick question for you. You talk about Tiger, or the tour or TGL or golf in general, the ecosystem really needing Tiger to show up every once in a while and play. I've been thinking about this for a while. Who is golf's next crossover star? And don't, like Jordan is past his prime. He doesn't win anymore. Like JT and everything. Like who is golf's next crossover star? Who's the next American pop culture star in golf? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Bryson is the easiest example to use because he is so popular and so big, especially with a certain demographic. The problem is I find Bryson to be highly unlikable. When he's not in on his videos, very personable. Like when he's on camera and there can be editing, then he's very personable. But when you get him on live TV, all of a sudden it's just like, oh man, like I remember why people didn't like this guy.
Oh man, every time I hear Bryson's voice, I think of Brooks rolling his eyes. I will never get that image out of my mind. It is. I mean, we're lucky we only get him like 4 or 5 times a year because otherwise it would just be too much.
It's better that we get him 4 or 5 times a year. Like that's a good use of Bryson for growing the popularity of golf. Because if you want to see him, you can go to YouTube. I was going to say you could watch live, but no one's really doing that. You can go to Bryson's YouTube channel and watch him play with the president or play with Steph Curry or whatever. Those are fun. That builds him up. But an actual major championship golf, if you had to see him, like if he returned to the PGA Tour and you saw him every single week in the signature events, doing his press conferences, seeing him on, like people find Spieth and Scottie annoying. Oh man, it's like someone walked up to them with a Men in Black. What was it called? Not the Optimizer, whatever the hell that thing was called. Erased their memories about what everyone thought about Bryson 4 years ago. And maybe he's grown up. Maybe it is a bit different, but I see no real difference when we see him in major championships. He's the same guy he always was.
Bryson, man,
So
you're 100% right.
I will give you some guys. I think that they need to be American. That's number one.
Yes.
I think that they need to have some flair to their game. I think they need to be somewhat personable. But the hardest part of this entire crossover situation is they need to be dominant golfers. If they are not as dominant as Scottie Scheffler currently is, or even like a little step back, be as dominant as Phil was in Phil's heyday. Like that's the level that you need to be at as a player in order to cross over. I don't see anyone really. Like if I could nominate someone to be that good, that could be a good crossover star because he's real nerdy and I think he has a good vibe. I mean, Akshay is my favorite player. I think it could be Akshay. He's young. He looks different. That was a big part of Tiger's initial appeal outside of his dominance. And I mean, Akshay's won 3 times. He's won big boy tournaments. I just don't think he has the game to be like an all-time type player. He could win 20 times on the PGA Tour. Unfortunately, that's not enough to be what we're talking about.
I mean, when I'm out on tour, people love guys like an Akshay. Another name that comes to mind is Neil Shipley. People love Neil Shipley, but he's just not good enough. He doesn't make cuts. I mean, at least Akshay's winning. But it's like right now, one of these guys, a Brennan, this is what got me going down this road. And your comment about Tiger and the golf industry needing him, but like Kiefer or any of these people, like we need somebody to like step up and have some swagger. We need a little Captain Jack Sparrow, but a guy that could bring home some booty as well, to capture some loot here. So it's interesting. There's a wide open opportunity there. And unfortunately, like I think Cam Young could do the winning part, but like, might be like pulling teeth to get him, to be more active in a pop culture sense. It'll be interesting. It's something we'll continue to talk about as the season goes on, I'm sure.
I'm trying to think, like, who would it be? Like, Matt Homo would have been the obvious example, but he lost his game, so that's tough.
Yeah, and he's also a little bit older. You can't be over 30. We need this guy to be like 24 to 28, be a stud. He has to win. He has to have crossover appeal. And I keep thinking about it, and I'm like, we have some great personalities, but they don't win, or we have some winners that don't have any personality. And we had 2 decades of Tiger, which was, a pretty good run.
Well, maybe there just isn't, because if anyone was going to replicate that, it would have been Rory at some point. Spieth got the closest during his run. Scottie hasn't even sniffed it. He's been the best guy since Tiger, and just no one cares. So it reminds me a lot of like how people hype up LeBron versus Jordan. That you can argue who's better, but if you think about cultural impact, although LeBron is everywhere, it's just not the same. Jordan was Jordan, like Tiger was Tiger. You're just not going to get that again. Even through the LeBron years, people like Steph Curry more because Steph Curry's different.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's what it comes down to. You need that Spieth, Mickelsonian like swagger. If you're not going to win all the time, you need to just at least take us on the journey. And then you need some sort of crossover because like, one of the things that's tougher nowadays is that with all of the social media activity and all of the coverage and all of the cameras that are on these guys, I mean, you have to be on 24/7 if you're going to be that type of crossover star. And that's a difficult thing to do. I mean, I think someone will come along, but I'm always just thinking about like, who's that guy going to be? Who's that next person that's going to pop off the Korn Ferry Tour and just all of a sudden be that magnet for the camera and also win? Just something we were talking about at the Players a bunch. And it was like, we kind of like, because Spieth and JT and those guys, you talked about Ricky, our parents, they know Ricky, they know Spieth, they know JT. After them, who do they know? And it's not Ludwig because he's not American. It's not, maybe it's a little bit of Rahm. They definitely know Bryson, but like you said, Bryson doesn't have a ton of like commercial appeal like a Peyton Manning does. And you know what?
It's funny because Peyton Manning, football is different in that sense because it's really hard to be a star in football, especially at the quarterback position, without just winning a bunch of Super Bowls or MVPs. Like Tom Brady's not the most dynamic personality going. Like, and even before he started dating Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce was like he was hosting SNL before he started dating her. Like he was kind of the dynamic personality, not Patrick Mahomes, the dominant athlete in the NFL of his time. So it's funny that I brought up the LeBron type thing. Bryson kind of reminds me of LeBron in that way, is that everything LeBron does feels so manufactured, just like Bryson, where you want that, and you kind of said it, like Spieth, Mickelson, that kind of, you're riding the roller coaster with them. That's how it always felt with Steph, that, he's just going to make 9 threes from half court in a game. Who knows what he's going to do tonight? But he was still really good at the same time. And he was winning championships, winning MVPs. But I don't think that when we look at the historical pantheon of best basketball players of all time, anyone would make the case that Steph was better than LeBron, although he probably ended up being more popular. So that's probably the route that we need to take for golf, that sort of someone who wins, but maybe isn't the most dominant player, but just is the most fun player with a personality. I just have no idea who it is. Akshay is the closest. Like, Akshay doesn't have a shirt on half the time. He's hitting it out of the water. He has his weird, like, stoner California accent absolutely cracks me up.
Yeah, and the fact that he looks like the lead singer from the Digital Underground just kills me, and then he leans into that look all the time. That to me is a lot of fun. Akshay's a great call. He's a great call, and he's so young. What is he, 23, 24 right now?
24. He just turned 24.
Yeah, so the first time I saw Akshay, I thought he was a long putter. It was 2017. I was on the range at Plainfield Country Club, and he was on the team for the Junior President's Cup, and they were playing the President's Cup at nearby Liberty National here in New Jersey. And this lefty kid who was getting lessons from George Gankis, if you remember that guy, when like Instagram kind of blew up and Twitter kind of blew up, and he was one of the first teachers that went on there just talking like total Southern California and saying all of these crazy things. And he was teaching Akshay. And I saw this kid live, and I was like, man, this is like incredible how skinny this kid is and how much he bombs it and how much swagger he has on the golf course and self-belief. That could be a really good call. And that name didn't come up. We're gonna have to keep working on this list because we need one of these guys. We need a new Phil Mickelson, not in the brain, but in the way that he plays. We need a new Seve. And this generation has yet to have one. If Spieth is suddenly kind of heading off into the sunset.
Well, we talk about emotion, and we'll get to this guy in a second because I bet him to win this week again. He's already won twice. It's Chris Gotterup. Gotterup could be really good. He could be like an actual personable Dustin Johnson. Because Brooks was the answer to this for ages. Brooks does have crossover appeal.
Oh yes,
he just comes and goes. That was the problem.
Yeah, I mean, Gotti could definitely lean in some more, and we'll see how comfortable he is with all of that. But the two New York area boys have an opportunity to be superstars. There's no doubt about that. They have the skill level to do it. Gotterup and Young. Do they have the personalities? It's a perfect compliment.
Like when Gotterup won, both of his, he's crying afterwards. Like he's showing genuine emotion. Where Cam Young looks like he was attending a funeral after he won the Players.
I mean, that's the point, right? Like,
sure, but that was always Dustin's biggest problem too. It's just like, there's this robot man out here winning golf events. Great.
I mean, Dustin only got crossover appeal for one reason, and we all know what that is. It was who he married. I mean, that's what it came down to. Otherwise, Dustin would have just been, he would have been Cam Young, just a really talented golfer that, wins a lot of big events, let's see, in his career, but then, no one really wants to talk to him in the interview room. So
you know who it could have been?
Oh.
And he just doesn't win is Tommy. Everyone loves Tommy Fleetwood.
Fleetwood's the best. He has the perfect answer for everything. He is the best. He can have all the crossover appeal. You remember when they did the video with he and Frankie, like laying in bed together? Like, was it a dream that went in the Ryder Cup and they went like, Tommy went 5-0 and Frankie went 4-1 or whatever it was, or the reverse of that. I mean, he kind of thinks that way. You can see it in the way he presents himself sometimes. And he's got the, he's got the flowing locks, and he leans into the fairway Jesus thing. Couple more wins would help his stock for sure. But, certainly doesn't hurt him when it comes to the Ryder Cup time. Or, the guy was pretty clutch at TGL last night.
TGL Tour champion, TGL champion. That's going to be the banner for Fleetwood when he retires.
That's going to be the banner for TGL. Let's just keep it to that. We'll
listen, unless Tiger goes lights out and wins 2 games in a row, people are like, TGL, see? Tiger. Here we go.
Oh, well, yeah. Should be interesting tonight. I'm on the links. I'm on Jupiter links. I think they upset him. So,
well, Tom Kim has the personality. He only has game on TGL.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's almost like, those guys that like win those mini putt competitions or the long drive champions or something. Golf has so many like specialized skills. I think that simulator golf is Tom Kim's, and the guy is clutch in there. He's really good. And I don't know. You like to think it could you'd like to think that could translate out to a regular tour event, but it hasn't as of yet in 2026.
He's in the field this week in Houston, so maybe. Oh, no, he's not. He's not in the field. He'll be in the field next week at Valero to try to play his way into the Masters, I'm guessing. His ball striking's actually been quite good recently. Sorry, his approach play has been good. His driving has been shits.
I backed him last week because I didn't think he'd need the driver, and his approach has been good. And, I'd seen signs of life in the simulator. So I was like, hey, maybe he gets emotional out here at Tampa. He's spending some time in Florida. He's getting used to the golf courses there, and let's see what we can do. But it didn't necessarily translate for 4 rounds. That's for sure.
No. Jared, you had someone you wanted to bring up. You raised your hand like 5 minutes ago, and I did not expect us to spend 20 minutes talking about this, but this is one of my favorite topics to cover here. Who was it that you wanted to bring up?
It wasn't somebody. It was more, do you think it's more likely that you get one guy or that it's like a tennis situation where you have a Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, and it's kind of a 3-headed, 4-headed, everybody, like those 4 guys are consistently winning, consistently in the mix?
I think tennis is different because you're not thinking about it from golf. You're always going to filter through the lens of the American perspective, where in tennis, it's a worldwide and mainly European perspective, frankly, for a lot of these guys, that they don't have to have the same bombacity as you would to translate in becoming a star in America. Like, as big as Djokovic, Federer, and Nadal ever got, how big of stars really were they in the U.S.?
Not nearly as big as Pete Sampras.
No,
and that was a generation before that.
Or Agassi or Serena.
Oh, yeah. And Agassi didn't win 1/10 of what the guys are that you're currently talking about did. And
he was smoking crack. It's tough.
Wearing
a wig and smoking crack. He was. He wrote it in his book.
Like, we have really gotten off the rails here.
Let's move to Houston and get our bets in for the week. Now, obviously, it's funny because I was waiting to make bets this week. And then I woke up on Tuesday morning. I was like, screw it. Like, I know the guys that I want to bet. Let me just bet them. So I bet them. And then Scottie withdrew. And then the market reset. So I got some better numbers than I would have got, apparently, on some of them. So my bets for the week. I bet Chris Gotterup, and these are all with 3 places at Bet365, and I have one at CoolBet, which I will get to in a second, because I just got the information about what his odds are now after the Scottie WD. So Gotterup, all with 3 places. That means half the bet is on the outright, half the bet is on a top 3 finish at 1/5 the odds of the outright, if you were wondering. Gotterup 33, Kitayama and Nikolai 50-1 apiece, Cootie and Wyndham Clark 80-1, and then I bet 4 guys for kicks: Aldrich, Old Yella, Isaiah Salinda, and Mason Howell at 800-1.
I have 3 core guys that I am going to back: Nikolai, Ryan Gerard, and Ryan Fox.
So Fox was on, let me pull up my notes here from the Jeff show. So the guys that I was on that I didn't end up getting to, and I have room for one more. If you want to sell me on Fox, I could be in, although he's one of the guys whose odds got dramatically slashed from open to now. He's like 45, 40-1, depending on where you look. I had Thorbjornsen, Penn.
Oh, down here in the States. Wait, hang on. Down in the States here, Fox is still 70.
He's still 70 on DraftKings?
It might be Bet Rivers but I mean, again, I have the luxury of, when I do make picks and back people, that I'm in New Jersey, so I have 18 different licenses here.
Fox is 68 right now. I can tell you at other sports books, he's 45-1. So
yeah, so I was seeing 70, but 68's the same thing, right? So
yeah, for sure.
There's still an opportunity there, and the only thing that Foxy doesn't really check the box on is that, is he as super long as some of these other guys that we're featuring? Maybe not,
long.
but
he's pretty long.
He's long enough, and he certainly checks the other boxes, and he's playing very well right now. So he seems to me like a good fit for that place.
Yeah, I was on him last year here, and he had a good run until Sunday, and he just imploded on Sunday. Yeah. So at least I know for 3 rounds he can pull a Xander, play really well for 3 rounds, and then hopefully he doesn't completely bury himself in the other round. So I would have room for him. I would have to go find whatever the best number is on him right now that I can go get. I could get him in that each way 3 up to 80, but his overall odds are 50 right now if I use the enhanced win. But I kind of had the Cootie, Clark, and Fox all as a grouping, and I ended up taking the other 2. I could still go there. Do you have between Thorbjornsen, Penge, and Brooks, did you have any leans on those?
Oh, Thor for sure. Thorbjornsen for sure.
That's where Jeff's at. And Jeff's at the winner here 2 years in a row. So maybe I should just go with him.
Yeah. There's a couple things there. Number one, I need you to call Cool Bet, and I want them to do what I call a Hogard boost. It's just that we bet one of the Hogards, and then if either one of them wins, then we get the boost, right? Like that's what I need right now, because I would love to abridge the 2 of them, like mesh them together in some Frankenstein way and send them out there, because I think that guy would definitely win by 5. But, Nikolai did not drive the golf ball the last couple of weeks, but those are 2 very difficult golf courses. This guy's going to let the shaft out this week, and everything else he's doing very well. He's staying on my radar for sure. And Thorbjornsen, a little better with the putter. And certainly fits the bill from a ball striking perspective. I mean, how many guys in the last couple of years have led the tour in strokes gained off the tee and greens in regulation, which is what he did last year. Perfect setting for him there down at Houston.
Yeah, it's if I wanted to go to Brennan, because Brennan leads everyone in driving right now because of the accuracy and the distance. He just doesn't do anything else well at the moment. That maybe Thorb is the, you know what? That's what I'm not going to bet Penge. I'm going to bet Michael Thorbjornsen. So you're welcome to everyone who bet Penge, because he's going to be my final cut. I'll go on Thorbjornsen at 50-1 with the 3 places. Call it a day with that. You can get him as high as, you can probably still get a 40 on him. I see a 38 right now if you just take him win only. Maybe I will. I have the rest of them top 3. I might as well go to this one too. But Kurt Kitayama right now at coolbet.com underneath the PME exclusives tab is boosted up to 35-1 as a win-only type bet. I believe that is going to be the best that's out there. Let me just confirm that for a second. What is he here? Kurt Kitayama, 24-1 at DraftKings, 35-1 at CoolBet. So if you're in Canada, outside of Ontario, hit the description, get your bonus, and boom, dump it all on Kurt Kitayama. And I hit my boost last week up there. I had it at 16 and bet it, and then it went up to 17 for AJ Ewart, low Canadian.
I mean, that was a very savvy bet. Love that. AJE. I get it.
Don't like him here so much.
He's not going to be able. He's not going to be able to separate himself like he could on an approach heavy place like Valspar last week.
No, next week might be a look for him if for another top 20, a top 10. But like Yella Miraju is the guy that you would want as a Canadian. I mean, Pendrith probably is the guy that you want, but his odds.
Whoa, Pendrith's playing with 13 clubs. Just beware, and you're going to a putter's paradise. Yeah, I mean, let's get into the golf course just for a second, right? Like, you got to be able to putt this place. The greens are 7,000 square feet on average. That's bigger than Augusta National. And they're doke designs, which means they're going to have a ton of movement to them, and certainly around the green complexes, which is why we're stressing all of this. But like approach putting or lag putting, whatever you want to call it, whatever terminology you want to use, guys have got to be able to do that. Everyone that's won here in the 5 editions, whether it's the fall or the spring, everyone's gained over 6 strokes on the field with their putter. I mean, that's a pretty significant trend. I would worry about taking guys that can't roll the rock whatsoever or haven't proven that they can roll the rock here, because there's a lot of guys that contend here that can't hit a fairway if it was 100 yards wide, but they hang around.
Well, that's interesting because like Finau has won here. No one's ever accused Finau of being a good putter.
Hey, man. He's popped a number of times in his career. You look at some of those wins, the Rocket, the 3M here. He's shown the ability to score when he gets hot. Consistently, no, you're 100% correct. But he's shown the ability to pop with his putter when it comes to winning.
So do you have any takes on Aldrich, Yella Miraju, Celinda, or Howell?
You're going to take the USAM champ?
Yeah, why not? I mean, he won the USAM.
Yeah, I mean, so did Nick Dunlap, right? And
hey, Nick Dunlap won, what, 2 or
twice.
3? Yeah, he won twice? That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Nick Dunlap in the field. Maybe he wins again this week. Can you hit it out of bounds at this course is my question. Because he will find it if you can.
You can hit it in the water. Minwoo proved that last year as we were all riding that victory and coming down the stretch, and he hit in the middle of that lake, and we were all like, "Whoa, what are we doing?" Of that group, I'll go with Howell. He's probably got the most talent of all of them.
And
well-rounded talent.
It's only 2 rounds to judge him off of, I believe, from the U.S. Open a year ago, but sits 13th in ball speed in this field.
Didn't Mason Howell play last week?
Did he play last week? I don't think that he did. Did he?
Have Jared, somebody look it up.
I can effort this one. Let's see here.
I think he did.
How do you do? Poorly, I assume.
I don't know. I thought I read his name.
No, he played the RSM in 2025.
Oh,
so
okay.
In the swing last year. So he has
right.
a U.S. Open cut, RSM Classic cut. Did gain on approach at the RSM, but if he can go bombs away here, he's probably one of the bigger drivers in the field. Like Gordon Sargent's playing this week too. Made a run in Puerto Rico a few weeks ago, but he legit doesn't do anything well.
Gordon Sargent was like the number 1 amateur in the world, and his senior year at Vanderbilt, he couldn't even play on the travel team. He was like the 6th or 7th ranked guy. It's not good. There's not a lot of well-rounded stuff to his game. He should hit the long drive tour. He would do well there.
Was he the guy who made the run? No, it was Bennett. Who was the guy who made the run at the Masters as an amateur, in the Rahm year when Rahm beat Brooks in Canada?
Bennett.
Sam Bennett. What happened to him?
Golf's a hard game. When it comes down to it, where's a lot of those guys? Where's Tyler Strafacci, who won the USAM from Georgia Tech? Haven't heard of that guy. I think
it's especially with Scottie pulling out of this field. I think it's worth a gamble on someone with potential. As you just listed a bunch of guys who've won the USAM have done nothing in their careers. You can also point to a few of them who did pretty well too, and won right away.
Yeah, I can point to a couple of them for sure. Yeah,
and your boy Celinda, 500 to 1. The guy's good. I like Celinda.
He's good at missing cuts.
No, listen, he made the cut last week. He's fine.
Yeah, he's a few still a few steps away from the Hall of Fame.
First round leader. I got 3 of them right now, and I'll add the rest of the cheat sheet. Toasty. I don't even know what that says. Celinda. Pontus Nyholm was the other guy. That was
my God.
180 to 1.
Pontus Nyholm's strokes gain chart on Data Golf looks like your shirt.
Don't worry about Data Golf. Worry about the rabbit hole and what he's actually been up to lately.
Well, they use red too, Pat. So fine. I'll name your sponsor. He's red on the rabbit hole.
He's not great on the rabbit hole. I'm not going to lie to you on that. But he has been significantly better over his past 3 starts. He was Sony, Amex, Farmers, and Phoenix. He was losing on average, 3.5 strokes total per round. Since he went to Florida.
Just per round.
Hey, listen, he went to Florida, T13 at the COG, T16 in Puerto Rico. He got cut last week at the Valspar only because of bad putting. The ball striking is here. And maybe he's just another one of those guys that came over from Europe and was like, you know what? Taking me a little bit of time to acclimate. Now he's okay.
I tell you what, on the live cards, I've been dabbling a lot in round totals, and they don't pay attention to guys like that. If those guys are trending, they're going to give you plus money all the time on them shooting just basically under par for the round. And I'll take those all the time. They had Xander having to shoot 2 under on Sunday at Valspar. And Xander hadn't had a Xander-like round all week. What did he shoot, 6 under? That thing was over at the turn. It was like you could take the money and reinvest it for the back 9. It was there's opportunities. Nyholm is one of those guys. If he's trending that well and he's in this 6-week run of playing well, the brokers will not adjust quick enough on those round over-unders. That's an opportunity for sure to make some cash.
So Nyholm, additionally, one of the other reasons that I wanted to jump on him, 24th in ball speed in this field. Big on driving distance. He
fits the mold then, you know. We do need him to putt, but hey, 5 par 3s in back-to-back weeks. We haven't talked about the fact this is a par 70. Par 70 favors certain types of scorers. So I looked at the field, right? And the best par 70 guys in the field, well, number 1, he has withdrawn. But number 2, you'll love to know, is Goddard.
And then Nikolai is probably out there.
3 Griffin, 4 Harris, 5 Salmon Slammy Burns. Minwoo 6th, Ryan Gerard 7, Shane Lowry 8th, Kurt Kitayama, cool bet, 35-1. Number 9, and Nico's number 10. You think about what those guys do good right now on tour. They score on par fours. They take care of the par threes. They're really, really good ball strikers. Bogey avoidance, all of the things that you're going to need, all those like little fundamental, simple skills that you're going to need around Memorial Park, which is why the guys that play well at Torrey, the guys that play well at Quail Hollow, the guys that play well at Augusta National, all play well here. And I'll give you one more comp because you and I are both talking about them, and a lot of people are talking about these types of players, but they also all played well at TPC Toronto. I think that's another sneaky, quiet comp right there. I would look at some of those leaderboards and then bring it down here. A lot of long iron play there, a lot of featured bombers last year, and you had to be able to chip and putt your golf ball up there at TPC Toronto, no matter how bad a track that was.
They're going back this year too.
Oh, thank God.
You go to a city that has, and just an area that probably has 9 championship courses, and you just pick one that's not one of those 9. Smart.
Well, it's like every time they go to New York, we go to Liberty National. I'm well aware of the trend.
but you can see the Statue of Liberty in the back.
I've seen it before, Pat. I've seen it before.
Listen, at least there's some sort of visual to draw people in watching it on TV. TPC Toronto is 2 hours from Toronto, and it's on like a farm. It's TPC Craig Ranch, Toronto.
Oh man, we can't go to Craig Ranch. Lag putting, par threes, certainly ball speed, comp courses we've gone over.
So I had a few comp
anything
courses.
else?
I had a few comp courses for you that I thought was somewhat interesting, and not so much for the guys at the top, the guys in the middle.
Okay. Hit me.
Farmers, Craig Ranch, Detroit, and Mexico were the 4 that I went with. A lot of crossover, similar type of players pop up at all of those courses and here.
Yeah, if I didn't mention Torrey, I meant Torrey South for sure.
Yeah.
There's tons of crossover there, and although we will go back to Vidanta Vallarta in the fall this year. That's another great one. That's another great preview course for sure.
Why do you think no one is betting Jake Knapp now?
I'm not saying that I won't.
Okay. So you're not, since he sustained this like back injury, whatever the hell it is, he hasn't been any good.
Oblique.
Oblique. Oh, that oblique 3 weeks. It rhymes, and that's how you have to remember it. Oblique means 3 weeks. Has it been 3 weeks? Almost.
Yeah. I mean, he's got the perfect skill set for this place. Bombs it, chips and putts it really, really well. Good enough with his irons, his shorter irons. He's going to use shorter irons than everybody else. And he kind of fits like the Houston swagger type of appeal that Minwoo and Steven Yeager have. You know, Yeager will go like 3 buttons deep on that golf shirt. I love that. I mean, let it fly, baby.
Additionally, you have Knapp wins at Mexico, 2nd at Craig Ranch, and 3rd at Farmers.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of good crossover there for him. And one of the reasons why the brokers got that one right, he should be near the top of the betting board. And without Scottie there, the door is ajar.
Yeah, Knapp 24-1. Well, let's talk one and done.
Oh, okay.
So I know who I'm playing, and it's just someone who no one's going to play. You just brought him up as someone who played really well at a crossover course. Does everything you kind of want here except hit his irons, and maybe you luck into it. I'm using Sam Burns because I don't think anyone's going to use him.
No one's going to use Sam Burns. And even if Sam Burns went on a huge run at some point, is anyone going to use him at what few signature events are left? I mean, the next time you could picture like wanting to use Sam Burns is what, like Southwind? You know, like when are we going to use Sam Burns?
I don't mind Sam Burns at a U.S. Open, weirdly. As a pivot play. Like, I'm not going to be like, hey, let me bet Sam Burns. But he has the right type of skills for there. Like, you need to luck into a good iron week, but just be long off the tee and make a ton of putts.
Yeah, I feel like from a consistency sake, I mean, you think there'd be that much steam behind Nikolai this week with these other guys that are in the field?
Well, I don't think I can use him for like the 4th time this year in one and
Yeah,
done.
no, I can't use him anymore, but like that's a thought.
Do we just have a problem? Because it's not just you and I. Everyone just really likes. Is it because his name is Nikolai? If his name was Nicholas Højgaard, do you think anyone would care? But Nikolai sounds pretty cool.
I mean, if I had to pick one of the Rasmus twins' names to name like my next son, you know, like you just had a kid. You know, if you had to pick one of those names, this should be a good rapid fire question. If you had to pick either Rasmus or Nikolai for, you know, your recent, you know, born Mayo, right? Which one would you take? Nikolai or Rasmus?
Nikolai, for sure.
Of course, yeah, Nikolai.
It's a great
Definitely.
name.
Yeah. A lot of people are going to like go the Penge route, and I can see that totally being like a miscut. Of course, he could win by 5, but I don't know.
Are we just overlooking Minwoo? We don't want to bet him because his odds are silly now at like 11 or 12 to 1. But as a one and done, where else are you really going to use Minwoo?
I bet you people are going to try to outsmart themselves and look past how well that he has really played recently. You're not going to bet him at whatever the number is now. He's 15 down here on DraftKings, but
that's so gross.
Yeah, it's difficult to even stomach. But he makes a lot of sense, and I think there'll be a lot of spread at the bottom of the board when it comes to there's going to be people that have not used Goddard yet, and they know that he's won twice.
I have not used Goddard as of yet. I think I apparently I'm saving everyone for the U.S. Open, but I think that you can use Goddard at a big event, like Quail Hollow, for example.
Quail Hollow would be a good spot for him, which is also a great comp course here with a much bigger purse.
Yeah, I bet Goddard up to win. I hope he wins, but if I don't
have,
how about
Goddard up at Doral in the wind down there in Florida?
Yeah, a nice -6 winner or something.
Yeah, I mean, there's another place where he just throws that cut out there, traps that ball flight, and hits those irons with like. It seems like it's like 30 degrees of shaft lean at impact every time. The guy takes divots like a backhoe. It's unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, something like that. It's always windy at Doral. People don't remember that golf course, but the Blue Monster's brutal. And Gil Hans didn't make that thing any softer. That's for sure. If anything, he just brought more of like the Scottish Open style play, into the fold for that. But we're getting ahead of ourselves.
I actually quite. It was really the one live event that I sat down and watched because I liked Doral so much and I missed having it on. And it was a very compelling tournament last year at Doral and Live.
I played the Blue Monster a couple times. Really, really good golf course. It was before the Gil Hans redo, but really, really good golf course.
You got some questions for me?
Oh, I definitely do. I don't know that I settled on a one and done pick, but it is what it is. I did want to bring this up.
Well, hold on. Where are you thinking for it? So like, I'm going with Burns. I think it's a good single bullet to use. I think he'll be low owned, but now that we've talked about it, maybe he won't be. I would guess people use Penge, Goddard, Brooks, Thorbjornsen, maybe even Minwoo. I think Burns comes in way behind all those guys. And while I don't personally love Burns this week, my one and done game theory play and how I play one and done is I don't need to think that the guy is a great bet to win because I'm wrong all the fucking time in terms of outright betting. Burns doesn't have a substantially less chance of winning of any of those guys.
Yeah, I tell you, I'm coming off a week at the Valspar where I'm just like banging my head against the wall. It's every year at that event. I always seem to like pick one guy that I love and he misses the cut. A couple of years ago it was Harmon. This year it was Hovland. I don't know. So I'm happy to get to Houston, where I won last year, and it seems like a much easier golf course to try to figure out what we're doing.
How about this? On the rabbit hole right now, betspertsgolf.com/Mayo if you want to get in. They've just rerun the simulations without Scottie in the field. Do you know who has the best winning probability of any player in this field?
I bet you Sam Burns is up there.
That is the answer by a pretty substantial margin. He's 4.6%. Minwoo is next at 4%.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Jason Day inside the top 10 too.
Yeah, Jason Day. His irons have been really bad lately.
Good in Texas.
Yes, and that was one of the first guys that like I thought of when I think of this golf course is like Day is contended here a lot. Another guy further down the board, triple digits. Don't go to sleep on your countryman, the guy who can wield the putter better than anybody up there, Mac Hughes. Sleeper guy there at Memorial Park. Look it up.
Yella Miraju is better than him. We're over all these other losers. We're on Yella Miraju now. He's our guy. We're putting our.
I'll go head to head with you on that one.
He is the most Graham Dillette type player that I've seen out of Canada since Graham Dillette, who was my favorite of the Canadian golfers. So let's go. Let's get a new guy there.
All right. We'll jump into the questions then. Here we go. Favorite comp course for Memorial Park this week?
Craig Ranch.
Ranch.
It is.
Man. If you could have one power, would you rather be invisible or be able to read people's minds?
Mines.
Brooks or Minwoo this week?
Brooks.
Your go-to karaoke song?
Don't look back in anger.
Oasis. How about you?
And
Slip inside the eye of your mind, huh?
Yeah. Fun fact, that was the night that my now wife really fell in love with old Pat Mayo. When I had the entire bar going, I had my shirt off. I was standing on top of we went there a lot, and they would do like late night karaoke. So the entire bar was packed. I'm absolutely hammered, singing Don't Look Back in Anger, just riling up the crowd to sing it along with me. She was in for it. So it became our wedding song, which is hilarious because it's a breakup song. You don't see a lot of breakup songs as like the first dance wedding song.
Yeah, I mean Oasis though, very underrated band, extremely good top to bottom.
Don't get into that with Cuss. Cuss hates Oasis.
There's a lot of what I don't want to get into a lot of things with him. Honestly, I really don't. I mean, that would be like having Bryson on tour 35 weeks a year. Most important skill you think to favor this week or to wait?
What do you mean? Oh, to wait? Ball speed. Ball speed / driving distance.
Will Tiger play well at TGL tonight?
Yes.
Your favorite childhood cartoon?
Simpsons.
Ooh, all right. Winning score this week, over or under 264.5, which is 15.5 under par?
Over. I'm going to guess -12.
All right. I'm with you on that one. What movie / TV character do you relate to the most?
Robert Downey Jr. and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Although
I'm not a thief, but just fidgety, quick-witted, getting punched in the face a bunch. That's me.
All right, I didn't have that on my Oscars card, but Pat, love the conversation today. Take us away.
Readtheline.com is where you can find all of Keith's work. You can also get the link to his newsletter down in the description. My newsletter will come out for free, sent directly to you on Wednesday afternoon. I might also release a very quick cheat sheet video and podcast. I'm not doing the live chat. I got some stuff to do at nighttime with my now 3 kids, so that's kind of off the table for the moment, but I might try to record 15 minutes on latest information, ownership percentages, just to give you a quick rundown. If you hate reading or can't read, then you can listen or watch the video or podcast. All right, so subscribe to that. Smash the like. Sub to this channel while you're here. All right, thank you all for watching. I'm Pat Mayo. I'll see you next time.
Mayo Experience! Experience!